everyone. Thank you for joining us for your lunch break this week. We are having a very special Valentine's special because Valentine's around the corner. So we appreciate you coming on. Today we're going to be playing a romantic game, which we will get into very shortly. But let's introduce ourselves real quick. My name is Meredith Gerber. I'm the DriveThruRPG Century Publisher Relations Representative. And I am joined here with
Lysa Penrose. I'm the brand manager for Dungeon Masters Guild.
and a wonderful one at that, and also the person who's going to be my date today. So
Yay!
I'm very excited. Yes. So if it's your first time joining us for Learn2Play, what we do is we pick some games off of our sites and we learn to play them together. I've looked over this game about twice, so we're kind of just get kind of the groundwork done, but we're going to be learning together, so it's going to be really fun. The book we are doing today is Romance Trilogy by Emily Care Boss.
Look at that gorgeous cover.
I love it.
Looks
It's
so
so
good.
good. It's incredible. And the book is very big too, like in a very positive way. Trilogy meaning the 3 games that are in there, and they're all romantic, which is super great. And they're very, very fun. And the thing is about it too that I really, really liked when reading over it is there's a lot of like hacks. There's a lot of different ways to play if you have more players and things like that. So definitely highly suggest it. It is on site, and we will definitely post that link here on Twitch and on YouTube as well. So yeah, the only game we're gonna play, I don't know why I said first because I'm so excited about the trilogy. The game we're gonna play is called Breaking the Ice. The overview is basically Lysa and I will make a character each, but we share a character sheet together, and it's very exciting. I'm really thrilled. And if we have time, we're gonna go through the date process, which is 3 different. This is Noctis.
A stream kitty.
Stream kitty. I think that's the shortest time we've had a stream kitty. 2 minutes.
Yep.
I knocked.
A new record, Noctis.
It's a new record. He's just so excited to meet everybody. But yeah, so if we have time, we'll go through the date process, which is really exciting, and see if our characters are compatible. So, Noctis, I love you, but I got to use my computer, please. All right. Yeah. It's our third wheel. It's our third wheel for this date. All right. Let's see. Let me just pull this up here real quick. So, and of course, if you have any questions or you have anything you want to say too, definitely put it in the chat because this is supposed to be a fun time. It's going to be really, really exciting. So this is going to be good.
Yeah, I'm coming into this knowing nothing about the game, so I'm really excited.
Yeah, I specifically told Lysa, like, don't worry about it. I'm going to look into it. And like I said, I got some footing for it, but we're going to work through it together. A lot of teamwork, so it's going to be fun. All right. So, Breaking the Ice, 2 players, that's us. Facilitator, none, because we are each other's facilitators, which we'll get into in a little bit. The time for this is 2 to 4 hours. Usually with this game, like I said, there's a lot of hacks to this, and so you can speed it up or you can make it go longer or over multiple sessions. So we're going to see how far we get within the allotted time. Supplies, shared character sheet, which we have off screen. Pens or pencils, which another thing we have off screen. 12 6-sided dice with 9 of one color and 3 of a different color for others. Minimum number needed is 3. More dice will expedite play. So it's very important. Lysa and I have both brought 66, so we're pretty excited. It's going to be really good. And that's the thing too I like is that they explain to you, like, if you want this to be super fast, then just add more dice to it so the dates go quickly. Okay. Noctis, I love you so much. I do. Lysa loves you too. Okay. So, like I said, it's 2 players and they create a fun and exciting love story. But the thing is, though, is this isn't just a simple, we go on 3 dates and we see if we're compatible. There are going to be challenges and conflicts that are going to come on our dates. And we're going to see if we can survive and still be in love. So
Okay.
we'll see.
I'm
It's going to be a
down.
good time. Yeah, the mishaps and misunderstandings are encounters or trials to overcome, but they are also openings that may allow deeper intimacy to develop and ultimately cause true love to bloom. So it's pretty good on that regard. Trying to scroll, but this one, it's like, don't scroll, only pay attention to me.
Go on 3 dates with me, meow.
Me, Noctis, you want to go on 3 dates with Lysa? Okay.
Would date Noctis. 10 out of
Okay.
10.
10/10, yeah. Like you don't even need to go on 3 dates, Noctis. Like Lisa's already smitten. You don't even need to impress her. Okay. So the game consists of 3 dates, each made up of 4 to 6 turns, which we're going to kind of break down a little bit. During a turn, one player is the active player and the other player is their guide. So when I said that there is no facilitator, that's because you can facilitate this yourself.
Okay.
So we would switch that off too, because that's not just that Lisa's the guide forever or I'm the active player forever. That will switch around with each turn. So it's not even that Lysa takes care of one whole date as a guide. Like we literally just keep switching back and forth, which is very fun. So here is what happens during a turn. The active player describes and plays out a scene in which their character attempts to win the other character's heart. They do so in stages, having things go well at first and then get messier and more complex. The active player chooses from a menu of options of what to describe and play out through stages. The guide gives suggestions, plays any other needed characters, and the award dice to the active player for each option they choose. So what that means is if I am the active player in this date, and Lysa still runs Lysa's character, like I still run my character, it's just that our roles are a little bit different. So what'll happen is while I'm trying to woo Lysa's character, Lysa is going to have dice, and as the guide can give me dice to help me. So can give me rerolls, can give me conflict, can give me attraction dice as well. That's completely up to Lysa on when Lysa wants to drop that. So that's pretty exciting in that regard too. So you do have control of that. The turn will end when you've run out of dice. So if I am floundering out there trying to impress you and you have no more dice, then we would switch turns.
Okay.
It's pretty straightforward. The rolls determine whether the chemistry or attraction between the characters grows, and if they find some common ground, a compatibility that may form the basis of a lasting relationship. Attraction may decrease between dates, but compatibilities are permanent.
All right.
So, which is great. If the main characters have enough compatibilities at the end of the game, it is likely their relationship will continue. After 3 dates, the game concludes and the fate of the relationship is resolved. The players answer 3 questions and decide together whether this romance was a flash in the pan or the beginning to something beautiful.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Isn't that cute? Yeah. Noctis, I love you.
Also love in chat, Inspire the Bark says, "Yay, my love and I can go on dates without leaving the house."
Oh,
yeah, like,
my
what a
gosh.
fun date night activity.
It is, yeah. It's super, super fun. So I'm super excited about that. All right. So, setup phase, character creation. This game will take 30 minutes. It consists of rating, decided how sex will be represented or not in game, genre, decide on the game's setting and mood, setting, play contemporary characters or choose a different period, and then character creation. So one of the things first is this is kind of a safety mechanic for both of us too, is what we are comfortable with in intimacy wise. I am good on Studio Ghibli level since we're streaming.
Yep,
so
that's where I am.
Hand-holding.
This is a work stream.
It is. Hand-holding, kisses on the cheek, I am totally fine with. I'm very comfortable with that. And so Lysa and I think we're talking before where we're going to do more of a wholesome date. So it's going to be cute. We might hold hands. Who knows? So it's going to be really good. So the genre, think of your game as though it will be made into a film and choose the genre of the story you want to create. And the thing about the genre is there is tons and tons of different kinds. You can do romantic comedy. They have a huge genre list of examples. Screwball comedy or quirky romance. They have dark comedy romance, if that's your thing too. No judgment. And like I said, they have this huge, huge list of different options. So, which is nice because if Lisa and I go on a wholesome date, 3 dates, and then later we want to try something different, we can do that. So that is completely up to you. Because action's an option too. If you want to make it like an action romance where you're spies, like that's perfectly fine too. One of the examples I had for action was Robin Hood, which I thought was great.
Oh.
Cute.
Do we want to do wholesome, Ghibli?
Wholesome,
Like
Ghibli is which is 10K aesthetics, so this will go well. Yeah, definitely. And I think that I'm okay with also making it modern. I just think it's easier.
Yeah.
You know, that's totally fine. Where and how we will definitely get to. So we have agreed on the setting, which is wholesome, Ghibli,
Right?
modern,
Yeah.
which is great. And we have also agreed on what we're comfortable with, which is wholesome intimacy, which I'm super down for. So, all right. You'll need a shared character sheet for this part. Work together to create your characters through the following steps. All right. So we agreed on the setting, which is good. And like I said, Lisa and I have our sheet off to the side, which is great. You can also, I'll put that also in the chat too, and we'll put this on YouTube as well. The nice thing about the romance trilogy is they have like the character sheet, they have a cheat sheet, they have a lot of different options. It's not just, you know, here's the book and good luck, which is really, really nice. So I'll put that in here. All right. Boop. Okay. Begin by considering how you are different from your co-player, not co-character, co-player. Chat with one another to find out your commonalities and differences. Examples of differences between players be gender, sex, town or region, or country of origin, sexual orientation, ethnicity, politics, social group, job, age. Pick one category of difference. Your character will also be different in this way. Switch this difference with your partner and assign the attribute they have in the real world to the character, and they have yours. So, yeah.
Okay.
So we can pick because our jobs are the same essentially. Yeah. So I mean, we can even switch regions. Like that's something that we would be able to do because I'm from Chicago and Lisa's on the West Coast. So definitely that's an option.
So are we going on Zoom dates then?
Are we going on Zoom dates? I think we're going on Zoom dates.
Okay. That's cute.
Weird thing can
that's
happen
like the
in
most
the background.
Modern.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's very, very on brand. So in the character sheet, and like I said, I put that on Twitch for you to watch, essentially. Not our live one, but the one that is available. Character name. Oh, this is the worst part.
Oh, every time we pick a character name first?
Pick a character name. Mm-hmm. That's always the hardest part.
Okay. I was thinking about that whole time you were doing the intro, and then I've already forgotten what I was going to pick.
I'm just going to pick something like Mia.
No, this is so important. Okay.
Take as long as you need, Lisa.
Is this going to be an hour of staring at me, agonizing over what my character
going on
name
Google,
is going to be?
like name generators until you find what you like. Yeah, like you take your time, Lisa. Okay. We're in no rush.
I think I'm going to have a really like old name. Okay. I really like the name. Oh no, is this text box working? I just made a box, but I don't know how to edit. Oh, there we go. Edit. My name is going to be Hortense.
I love it. A+.
Yep.
Okay. Easy peasy. All right. So what we want to do, like I said, is figure out a switch difference. So it could be anything. Like I said, we can switch regions. Because even like politics, you and I are pretty similar on, so that's not a big change or anything. We're close in the same age too.
We have a lot of similarities.
We do.
That's part of why we're friends.
Yeah, of course.
Let's do regions. I kind of like the idea of at least starting this as this long distance thing. Yeah. So you can be from the Pacific Northwest, and I'll be from the Chicago area.
Sounds good. Seattle, to be specific, 'cause I like Seattle.
Chicago.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, what? I mean, you have to drill down a little bit if like you're very, very similar to somebody. So that's very interesting mechanic. Okay. Write the switch traits down in your character sheet. Done. Pick something that is fun for you, interesting to explore, and that you're comfortable playing in the game. Awesome. There's no restriction, which is great. Okay. Time to do what is called the word web. Lysa, you will be doing this on page 3 of our Jamboard, which if you haven't used Jamboard, one of the things is I've used Jamboard a bunch for online play, and so it's very good in this regard where Lysa and I can kind of interact together, which is nice. So choose your character's favorite color and write it down on the character sheet on the appropriate line, which we're going to do it on a blank sheet. There's just more room. So I will put down my favorite color, which is teal.
This is our character's favorite color?
This is, let me see. Oh, your character's favorite color. Ooh, I'm going to change that then. I'm going to say...
What color does Hortense like?
Hortense gives me, like, earth vibes.
Yeah, I want to say, like, taupe.
Yeah. I'm going to say magenta.
Taupe.
Hot pink. I like hot pink. IRL,
I think that if you want, we could share the link for people to view our Jamboard.
I think we can. Let me see.
Yeah.
Share.
Anyone on the internet with this link can view. I'm going to do it.
Okay, do it so people can see it.
View the Jamboard.
I also want people to see Jamboard because it's brilliant and wonderful and the greatest. Okay. So, yeah, if you're joining us, we are on page 3 right now. Okay. You're so smart, Lysa.
Yeah.
That's why I'm going on a date with you. All right. Yeah. All right. So each player should also write in the middle of a blank sheet of paper. So basically the short version is you can do this on a character sheet or you can do this on a scrap of paper. I like having space, so that's why we're doing it on that. Choose which player will go first. On your turn, draw a circle around your own character's color and choose a different word inspired by the color. For example, if the color was red, the player might say passion. Write the new word on the page and draw a line from it to the color as an example below. And the other player then thinks of a different word inspired by either the color itself or the word the first player wrote on the page. Write the new word on the page joined to another by a line. So you're making a word web, essentially.
Okay.
The first player then thinks of a word inspired by any of the words written on the page, and so on until each player has written 6 words, not counting the color, for a total of 12. This will result in a word web similar to the one that we're doing. So what's going to happen? Let's get a circle. All right, so no.
I just sent my circle to the back.
Oh, again, this is why I keep you around. You're so smart. Okay. Send to the back. Okay. All right. So Lysa, I'm going to have you go first.
Okay.
What is the first word that pops in your head from hot pink?
Oh, so I do your color.
Yeah, and then what we're going to do is, so I'm going to do, you're going to do my color, and then I can choose to continue on mine, or I can go back to yours.
Okay. For hot pink, the first word that comes to mind is bubbly.
Okay. All right, and for yours, because again, so the other thing, like I mentioned, we'll reiterate, is I can stay on mine. Like if I'm like, I want to write something for bubbly, but I'm going to go back to yours, I'm going to say old-fashioned.
Okay. Is that for me?
That's for you.
Okay.
Off your color.
Appropriate for taupe. Old-fashioned. Okay.
Now you can essentially word web off of anything that's currently on the board.
Okay. I'm gonna actually branch off of my own.
Okay.
And so then I make another circle.
You can make it. Yeah, you can make another circle with a line to it, however you want to do it. I'm just kind of having the color be the main one, but.
Oh, okay. I'm just like getting really into drawing on this Jamboard.
You know what? I
live my bliss.
Allow it. Yeah, do it. Live your bliss.
I am going to say homesteader.
Ooh.
Or homesteading for old
Okay.
fashioned.
All right.
So I know some of my characters' interests.
Okay, let me think. So I'm gonna say off of homesteading, gardener.
Oh, nice.
Gardener. Oh, send to the back.
Okay. Then I'm going to say off of bubbly. This is a little more abstract. I'm just going to put champagne.
That's perfect. Nope.
I've learned that if you hold the shift key, it makes a line that doesn't.
Oh,
look
it actually
ridiculous.
doesn't look like
yeah.
I'm in kindergarten. Yeah. Or at 34 years old because I still can't draw straight lines. Yeah. All right. Okay. Send backward. Okay. We're learning all about Jamboard, so thanks, Lysa. Yep. Shift. Yay. I will go off of, let's see. I'm going to go off a hot pink again. And I'm going to pick a word that goes with hot pink. I think of roses.
Oh. Well, that immediately makes me think that maybe you are a floral designer.
Could be. If I try hard, believe in myself.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have 1, 2, 3 because we don't count the color, and you have 1, 2, 3. Old fashioned makes me think of like a vintage collector.
Ooh.
Order, send backward. Pen, shift, so I look cool. All right.
Then, gosh, vintage collector. Homesteading, gardener. So, like, I'm a gardening vintage collector. I'm down for that. I'm trying to think what's another word taupe reminds me of. It feels like such a soft color. I'm going to say another abstract one. Fuzzy.
Fuzzy.
Fuzzy is what taupe makes me think of. Send to back.
And fuzzy makes me think of cats.
Yes.
Are we making this for characters or making it for us? Like, sky's the limit. Send backwards. So you have one.
We're already like just the words and everything that we've chosen. These are already great Ghibli characters.
I'm into it. All right, friend.
What else does hot pink make me think of? Makes me think of flamingos. But I don't know where we would go with that. But I'm gonna put that down and see what happens.
You put flamingos?
Yeah. How do you spell flamingos? I'm just gonna say singular flamingo.
So, un flamingo.
Un flamingo.
So you have your 6, so I need to build off mine. Flamingo makes me think of like cocktails, like because of like the like, like the type of, I always think of like sometimes if you get cocktails, they have like little flamingos and little umbrellas and stuff. So I'm gonna put cocktails.
Okay, you've got champagne and cocktails.
This is gonna be a great date. Getting drunk on Zoom. All right, on this date, it's gonna go very well. All right, line. All right, so mine are hot pink, roses, floral designer, bubbly, champagne, except flamingo, cocktails. Lysa.
And mine started with taupe, old-fashioned, homesteading, gardener, vintage collector. Also, fuzzy cats.
Fuzzy cats. Specifically fuzzy cats.
Specifically
it's very
fuzzy
important.
Cats.
Okay, this will result in a word web, which we did. These words are used to inspire your character's traits.
I love that started with a color.
Mm-hmm.
That's such like a fun thing for character creation.
Yeah, and it's interesting because they have they have a word web essentially in the book as an example. And it's interesting to see like other people's like ideas, you know what I mean? Like they went from red to like Mars. You know what I mean? Like that's like
cool.
Very interesting. So, all right. So for a total of 12, which we did. Look at the word web around your character's favorite color and imagine what it might tell you about your character. What personality traits do these words suggest? What jobs might they represent? What interests would follow from them? Are there other words that bring to mind? Make notes on the page to share your own ideas with your co-player. If you find connections between the two characters, include them in your brainstorming. From these words and ideas, create traits as follows. So, before we even jump into that, we both like flowers, so that's a plus, especially with gardener, floral designer, and roses. Yeah, those
aside from that, we're very opposites attract.
Yes, which I'm totally into. So I'm glad that kind of worked out that way. Traits or words are short statements about your character. Many games in this volume use traits. In Breaking the Ice, they're divided into categories: self, work, and play. Self includes temperament, personality, home, pets, family, friends. Work includes career, vocation, or calling. Play includes hobbies or interests. So self is all about you internally, essentially. Like how your home life is, your pets, your family, your friends, work, career, and then play, including hobbies and interests. New traits can be created at any time. Throughout the game, the players describe actions and characteristics of the characters that bring these traits into play. So even though we are building these traits right now, while we're on dates, we might find new traits about ourselves, which I kind of like. I think that's really sweet. Choose 4 to 6 traits total. This is on our shared character sheet, page 1. Choose 4 to 6 traits total with at least 1 in each category: self, work, and play. You will add many more traits throughout the game.
Okay, that's 4 to 6 total for, I mean, it has to be for each character.
So that's a good one. Let's see. Choose 4 to 6 share with Oop. Please let me pull up. Around your characters, about traits or words or statements about the character. So it's not the characters. So it's 4 to 6 for both of us on each side of it, but you need at least total in one category. So you can make it where self is all of your traits, the 4 to 6, or you can make it where work is or play, but one category has to have 4 to 6.
Wait, I think it's 4 to 6, and then each category needs to have at least 1.
Yeah,
right?
That's what I'm saying. Like one category has to have, I think, hold on, let's see. Choose 4 to 6 traits total with at least 1 in each category. That's right, you're correct.
Okay.
So everything has to be, every section has to be filled out for a total of altogether 4 to 6.
All right.
There we go.
So what sort of person are you thinking Mia is?
I think that she's She's definitely young, I think. I feel like she is younger. I think the big thing is that to start out, so for self, I think she said bubbly, so it makes me think of like, I don't want to say positive, but like kind, friendly.
Okay.
She's friendly.
I'm going to say that I'm reserved.
Oh, this is going to go well. So okay. I'm going to make sure that we have one in each category. So I'm going to jump to work. I'm going to take your idea that she's a floral designer.
Cool.
All right. What does Hortense do? Does she hang out at home? Like, what is going on?
I feel like being a vintage collector is her job. Like, she has a really great online store that curates things that she finds.
Perfect.
There's like a specific shop that I really like that I have in my mind that like she has
That's
all sorts
awesome.
of curios.
I'm glad. Okay.
How would you describe that job?
Like online seller,
collector?
Online curator,
curio curator. That's cool. Curator. Make it tiny. There we go. All right, that's in my work. And then play.
So hobbies and interests, which we have, I feel like, a lot in our word web. So I think Mia likes to go to brunch. That's a hobby. Loves brunch. Brunch is a hobby.
Brunch is a hobby.
It really is. What about Hortense?
Loves brunch. Hortense loves arts and crafts. It's
Perfect.
Part of her like homesteading thing. She just loves making things.
Awesome.
And like gardening and all that jazz.
All right.
That's 3. So we each need at least one more.
Mm-hmm. Based off our word web.
I feel like I want to put something else in self just because I feel like that will flesh her out as a person.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, and also I could say whether she has pets. Pets is in self.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to give her some cats.
Perfect.
How many, though?
That's up to you.
I'm going to say many cats.
Many cats.
I'm going to say she's also a cat rescuer.
Perfect. Let's see. Something for self. I got flamingos, cocktails. Oh, she is a bartender on the weekends.
Oh, nice.
Perfect.
Perfect.
That worked out well, and I'll put that in work.
Should we do more, or should we? Do you want to leave more space for?
I think we can do one more. I think
okay.
one more is good.
I want to give myself another hobby. Reserved many cats, curio curator, arts and crafts. I'm a gardener. So I don't know if this goes into play or work. She considers it play because it's a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
But award-winning rose breeder.
Of course. Of course she is. Oh, goodness. Okay. I'm going to put that she is a romantic.
Oh.
We got like roses and stuff and living that life. Romantic. Okay, cool. All right. We chose the traits. That's a thing.
Yeah, I'm actually moving Rose Breeder to work.
Okay.
Because she takes roses seriously.
Okay, which is.
And she writes off Rose's stuff on her taxes.
Okay, perfect. All right, so let's see. All right, choose a name for your character at this point. If you've not done so, we did.
Yeah.
Which is great. Choosing a conflict. After traits have been chosen and you have some sense of your character as a person, take turns asking each other the following question. What is problematic for your character about going on this date? The answer is the character's conflict. This conflict can be internal or external, about their emotions, about something that happened in their life, or even about the other character. Discuss it and allow yourself to be open to finding conflicts that are interesting to both of you. Write the conflict on the character sheet in the appropriate blank. Example conflicts are, is babysitting a leopard, dated the other character's older brother, has a jealous ex, is an internet addict, has a broken leg, is nursing a broken heart.
Oh.
The conflict you choose will become a theme throughout the game. Choose something that makes sense for your character, that's juicy or fun, and that you and your co-player find believable. Choose something you find funny or that inspires you or that makes your hair stand up in a good way.
Okay.
You will use this conflict to trip up your character, creating those twists and turns on the road to love.
Okay. So, what is problematic for Mia about going on this date?
I would say she's... So I want it to be like juicy, but it's Ghibli. So in Ghibli's very juicy.
Did you just get out of a relationship with a sorcerer in a moving castle?
Stop. Yes. Stop. We're on the same wavelength. We're compatible. Yes. I said wizard. That's just what's happening. Okay. Conflict. Just broke up with a wizard in a moving castle.
Fantastic.
Which is my life goal anyway, so getting it going. All right, what about Hortense? What's going on?
Hortense, I feel like it might be related to why she's reserved. And okay, so we now know that we're in a magical Ghibli realm.
Yes, 100%.
So I feel like Hortense is under a witch's curse.
Ooh.
But what would the specifics of the curse be, or do we want to leave that open-ended?
I think open-ended would be fun in that regard, because as I adjust my stuff, because it's just like there's more room for stuff, which I'm totally into.
Yeah. All right. Under a witch's curse.
Yep.
Oops. Spelled it wrong. There we go.
Are we in the same Ghibli movie? Pretty sure we are. Oh, goodness. Okay, so let's see. All right. During the game, the characters gain special traits called compatibilities. The characters share these traits. Compatibilities are created when 4 successes are achieved during a turn, which is further explained. Write them on the line in the center of the column labeled compatibilities, which is found between the 2 characters' information. They apply to both characters. During their turn, the active player, so the person who's not the guide, may call upon their compatibilities to gain extra dice. Each compatibility gives a total of 2 dice and may be used only once per turn. They may not be rerolled.
Okay.
So we can, let me actually see up. Yeah. Write them on a line. So my question is, do we gain it later?
It sounds like it, because we need them. We need to roll to get successes, to get compatibilities.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, fun fact, we are ready to go.
Oh, yay!
Passing it
back. We did character creation.
We did it. We're so good and awesome.
Do you want to do a summary of, let's read out summaries of our characters?
Yeah, sure. Lysa, why don't you start?
So I am playing Hortense, who's from Chicago, and her favorite color is taupe. She is reserved, has many cats. She works as a curio creator, and in her free time breeds roses. She's won some awards, no big deal. And she really likes arts and crafts. However, she is under a witch's curse. She doesn't like to talk about it, so we don't have the details yet.
Okay. I am playing Mia, whose favorite color is hot pink, and I just realized I need to put that on the sheet. She is from Seattle, Washington. She's friendly. She's a hopeless romantic. And what she does to gain money to be a hopeless romantic is she's a floral designer and a bartender on the weekends. and one of her favorite things to do is go to brunch. Unfortunately, she just broke up with a wizard in a moving castle. So the ex might be a problem. We don't know yet.
Yes.
All right. Okay, let me put in my favorite color, which is hot pink. All right, cool. Well, I'm excited to go on 3 dates with Hortense.
Yay!
It's gonna be yeah. All right. After you've created your characters, you can begin play. The game is played out in 3 dates. The player tells the story of what happens on each date, describing scenes, playing out in character what the characters do, giving one another suggestions on what to do next, and rolling dice to see if the characters grow closer. Each date is made up of 4 to 6 turns that alternate between players. The player whose character is in focus is the active player. The other player is the guide, as we've mentioned earlier. The guide awards dice to the active player for describing and playing out the events of the date. The results could increase the attraction levels between the characters or create new compatibilities. The active player and guide work together to turn these dice rolls into descriptions of the couple's joys and misfortunes.
Nice.
At the end of each date, the active players make a reality check, rolling for new attraction they've collected to see if it endures. At the end of the 3rd date, the story of the new lovers is resolved.
Okay, let's do this.
All right. About dates. As the game begins, the characters have agreed to go on their first date. A date is just what it sounds like. 2 characters spend time together and share one or more activities. For example, going out to dinner, then taking in a movie would constitute a single date, which you can do over Zoom. So that works out great. Dates need not to be what is thought of a stereotypical date, since contemporary relationships don't always fit this pattern. They are simply 3 significant times that the 2 characters spent together in their relationship. The characters might do something related to a shared interest, go boating, gamble at a casino, or help build a house for Habitat for Humanity. Maybe work throws them together when they pull an all-nighter in the office or collaborate on a case they've been assigned. Do what feels natural. A date begins when the characters meet and ends when they part again. The players determine what length of time makes sense according to their characters and what has happened in the game. Maybe a date lasts through an evening or an afternoon or possibly longer. The trip to the movies after dinner could turn into an epic struggle to fix a flat tire or be interrupted by a frantic call for help from a friend that occupies the characters long into the evening. If the couple finally made it to the movie after dinner, maybe it ends when they finish the movie or perhaps after a nightcat and more. Each date consists of, as we stated, 4 to 6 turns. If the date is still running when you reach 6 turns, you got to find a way to wrap it up, which is great.
Okay.
All right. Beginning the first date.
Right.
Before starting the first date, briefly establish how the characters met and decided to go on a date. Who asked whom out? After you decide, formally begin to play the first date. So
I feel like we're in different parts of the world, so I feel like we either have a mutual acquaintance who thought we should meet, or we met on like a flower forum.
I think flower forum is freaking cute.
Okay.
And super Ghibli-ish. So I am into flower forum.
Okay.
Oh, I'm loving this. I'm glad Inspire the Barks is picking up this game today.
Yay! It's super fun so far.
Yeah, which actually let me link it. DriveThruRPG. I'm very excited about going on this date in the Ghibli universe. Okie doke. Great. All right, so that is in the chat. And like I said, for YouTube, that will be in the description below. So, all right. So we met on a flower forum, and I really liked your roses and felt very connected to you. And wanted to maybe, if it's okay with you, and you're comfortable with it, if you would like to talk more about your gardening habits.
I do. I mean, yes, I will go on this date with you.
This is amazing and probably the greatest thing we've ever done. All right, so I'm fine with doing it next year too, in February. All right, so if one of the players is a veteran player breaking the ice, before let them go first, which is not relevant to us currently. About players' turns. So before we pick who's going to go first, we'll kind of go over the turns. Okay. Each turn is a series of narrations and collaborative images about what happens to the two characters on their date. The players alternate turns. The player who's currently taking a turn is the active player, and the other is the guide. The active player's character is the active character. During each turn, the guide will award up to 5 different types of dice to the active player: attraction dice, bonus dice, reroll dice, conflict dice, and compatibility dice. So as we said earlier, basically, if I go first as the active player, I'm saying what I'm doing during the date, but you're coming in as the guide, so you kind of guide the date along. And that includes sabotaging it too, and having either your witch's curse or my ex-boyfriend who lives in a moving castle show up. So, all right. At stages during the turn, the active player rolls these dice to raise the attraction level and increase the number of compatibilities between the two characters. New traits can be added by the active player at any time. So if during our date I'm like, oh, she's really like sarcastic, I can add that. Or if she says, oh, I have a parrot, I can add that onto the sheet at any time.
Okay.
In between dates, new attraction levels can disappear, but the compatibilities remain consistent. So that's important. So because the attraction we're going to roll for at the end of the date, but the compatibilities, no matter what compatibilities and things we have in common, that's always going to stay. So that'll never go away. The active player does the following on their turn. All right. So would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first as the active player?
I guess I still don't fully understand. So if I'm the active player, then I just like describe what I'm doing on the date, basically, right?
It's more so the narration. Even if you're the guide, you still have control of your character. So even though if you're the active player, I still can respond as like Mia would respond.
Okay. I think
it's not,
But does the guide just tell like what to roll and stuff?
So the guide, what they can do, so let's just go over that list, because I think that's going to help. So the active player does the following on their turn: set the scene, so describe the location, which is Zoom, establish the time, describe how much time has passed since the last turn. Because like they said before, you can have multiple events happen like through the evening type of deal if you want. Describe parts of the date going well. Active players create new traits as desired. The guide awards them dice for these descriptions, which we'll go over that too.
Okay.
You make an attraction roll. You describe the parts of date going poorly. Active player creates new traits as desired. The guide awards dice for these descriptions. So for the things that go well, there's certain type of dice, and things that go poorly, there's certain types of dice. And then you roll conflict and compatibilities if applicable. And with enough successes, you can add, essentially you can increase your attraction levels or add one or more compatibilities.
Okay.
As the active player, your audience is the guide. You are creating stories about the character to entertain not only yourself, but your partner as well. You get to see what your fellow player thinks is funny or cool, just right, or not so very. Know that the guide wants you to succeed and to make up interesting things. Speak your ideas confidently, and the other person is there to support you, but also be open to alternatives they suggest. So even though if you're the active player, even though I'm responding as Mia, like you're kind of setting like how it's going. Where it can be like, oh, like if you tell a funny joke and like things like that, like I can react to it. But if you're like, this witch shows up in the background of my Zoom call, like that's what's happening. Like as the active player, you're essentially the narrator as opposed to the guide.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to say I'll be the active player first.
Okay, awesome. Together, you'll have good and bad things happen to the characters on the way to bring them closer or not. The guide does the following during the active player's turn. Represents their own character. So like I said, even though you're doing the bulk of the narration, I still can interact with you.
Okay.
Give the active player feedback about their narration, which is important because together 2 heads are better than 1 for coming up with cool ideas, which is great. And award 5 different kinds of dice: bonus dice, attraction dice, reroll dice, conflict dice, and compatibility dice to the active player. The guide may also ask for more detail about events or more information about the characters or setting, Ask for the active player to speak in character and roleplay out what has been described. If other supporting characters are needed, the players work together to decide who plays them. So if we have this witch show up, we can kind of decide who's going to run that or who's going to narrate that.
Okay.
And then make suggestions for the narration. When you take your turn as guide, the dice you award give feedback to the other players. Give them verbal feedback too, like, that was a great idea, or that really fit with what we know about your character, or that was really funny. So definitely support your other person. If you disagree with something narrated, give an alternative suggestion. Your role is to not block, but to coach and support. As the active player narrates, describe your own character's responses and make suggestions about possible events or consequences. Remember that you'll get the same kind of help and input when it's your turn to be the active player. So that's kind of the big thing, is we need to go over the dice rolls specifically.
Yeah.
Because that's very important. So to summarize, we take turns being the active player and the guide. Active player is the one who narrates the scene, talks about what happens, the good things and the bad things that happen. I am able to still interact if I am the guide, but it's Lisa's show, essentially, is the easiest ways to put it. And when Lisa does cool things, I can award Lisa with dice that will help at the end with our compatibility rolls. So very important. All right. Let me get to that section. Mechanics. That's what we're looking for. The back and forth of each turn hinges on an exchange between active player and guide. As the active player narrates, the guide awards dice. Add traits and mark new attraction levels on the shared character sheet. So as we said, if we're talking and you say, your character says something like, oh yeah, I wanted to be a doctor or whatever, you can put that into your traits at any time, which is good. So the active player is able to add traits to their character. Okay. Awarding dice. All dice are awarded by the guide. Over the course of each turn, the guide awards 5 different dice to the active player: attraction dice, bonus dice, reroll dice, conflict dice, and compatibility dice. Each type of dice are associated with the narration described by the active player, and help from the guide. All dice are standard 6-sided. Dice are often associated with traits. New traits can be added at any time. At the start of each turn, the guide gathers together all the dice to be awarded. They hold them throughout the active player's turn, distributing them as appropriate. So since we're doing this online, we can just kind of put a tally in our chat on Slack or in Zoom, just how many you're getting. Or I can just put it in there hey.
We could do little dots on this sheet too, like that.
Yep, we can. Let me pull up.
Am I drawing sheet. Dots? Where are they? Oh, there.
Oh, there you are. Yeah, I was like, what is this pink line? Yeah, we can do that.
Line.
That's fine too.
Okay.
All right.
Let's just make a dot. All I want is something that just makes a dot. Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll work it out. All right. So at the start of each turn, the guide gathers all together dice, which we decided. Okay. The active player describes most of what happens, and the guide responds by awarding some of the dice for each part of the narration. Both may speak dialogue in character or describe what happens. The guide also makes suggestions that the active player may adopt. Find the dice types, the kind of narration they represent, and how many dice are gained for each below. Okay. So the types of dice. Attraction dice. A starting romance jester. Number is equal to the attraction level at the start of turn, which we automatically have 1 attraction at the start of this. We have some attraction, but it's just 1 right now. But it can go up.
Okay.
Bonus dice, have things go well on the dice, or on the days, on the date. Have things go well on the date. 1 dice each. Rerolls, if you don't gain enough successes, have things go wrong, another chance of romance. So essentially the bonus dice is to make sure it goes extremely well. The reroll is oh no, you tried to lock the witch out of your apartment, and you didn't lock it. Do you want I'll give you a reroll dice to see if you can do it again. Compatibility, shared interest you establish over time, which we have none currently, but we will. Both characters can join in on these 2 dice each. And then conflicts, major issues that rock the boat but can really make a difference, 3 dice each. So the next step is roll the dice at the end of several stages. So the pool attraction dice and all bonus dice together. So I shared this PDF with you also. get this over too. Pool re-rolls together, then must be rolled after attraction dice and bonus dice are rolled. So obviously you can't do a re-roll for nothing that's for something that doesn't exist. Roll for conflict, you can roll at any time, once per turn, and it cannot be re-rolled. And then roll for each compatibility, roll at any tie, once per turn, cannot be re-rolled. This is where you get to know what makes the characters tick. See how they create harmony or havoc and how they affect one another's lives. Each roll brings a plot twist that may carry your characters together. Narrating using the menu options. Choosing from one of the options to guide what happens on the date. It's so positive and negative. But the overview of dice rolling is what we are looking for.
Okay.
All right. Start with the number of dice equal to the number of attraction level boxes marked off, which is what, Lysa?
1.
Okay. These are your attraction dice. Add them to your pool once you've described a romantic gesture that the character makes. So if you were to send me flowers, we would do an attraction roll because it's like something that is romantic that can increase attraction. Add up to 3 more dice to this pool by doing up to 3 different things that are positive and make the date go well. So there is like kind of like a menu and stuff, but honestly, anything romantic I think counts, or anything cute counts in that. So that's 3.
I found a good example of what exactly happens on a turn on page 22.
You're already ahead of me. I'm loving it.
Yeah. So I guess the active player, I'll set the scene.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about what's going well, and then I can make an attraction roll.
Okay.
And then based on how that goes, I suppose, I can earn reroll dice and then reroll them.
Yeah.
And then we possibly, if it's applicable, roll conflict and compatibilities.
Yeah.
With enough successes, which I think is 3, we make more attraction.
Yes. So 3 will be, will make us go up in attraction, which is great. But yeah, we need those 3 successes to make it work.
Okay.
Awesome.
So do we want to just kind of try it and see how
and kind of figure it out
as we go?
Yeah, because each 5 or 6 on a die is a success, as an FYI. Each 1 to 4 is a failure. So we can definitely go ahead and try it. I just want to make sure that I'm doing this. If you look at the table on page 29, it has like kind of the breakdown as a guide on how many I can give.
Okay.
So, which is good.
So I'll stay on what the active player does for now.
That's perfectly fine.
And then Okay. So I'm the active player. I set the scene and describe the location. So we're at our Zoom meeting. I feel like Hortense probably is like in charge of the Zoom. And sees that Mia has joined, and so I let you in, and the first thing that you see is that Hortense has used all of her crafty powers to create like this cool flower backdrop, and you see she has like a little vase with roses at the front, and like she's like in a very prim sort of dress, but she has dressed up. What would Mia's side of the date look like?
So Mia is in her small studio apartment. She has a bunch of different art pieces hanging on the wall, and they range in art types. So some is like modern, some is abstract, kind of just hanging in the back with a variety of different choices. She has, of course, some flowers and some vases just kind of in the background, very, not up front. Don't want to scare off Hortense, just, talking about flowers off the bat. And she is wearing, she's wearing a hot pink, like t-shirt, and jeans. So she's very comfortable. And she's sitting and ready for this Zoom chat.
Oh, I feel overdressed. I'm Hortense. Hi.
Hi, I'm Mia, and you're not overdressed. You look very nice.
Oh, thank you. I'm really art crafty, so I thought there's so few opportunities to like get dressed up and do something fun, so I thought I'd make this backdrop, make a whole occasion out of it. And I kind of move my camera down, and you see that like I've made like a whole little place setting as well.
Oh wow, that's really really good. You're really good at what you do.
Thanks.
I'm
I
very
have a lot
impressed.
of like nice like plateware and stuff around us. I go thrifting a lot. It's my job. And so it inevitably end up being a little bit of a hoarder as well, but in a good way, not in a bad way. Not like I'm not a hoarder.
Okay. That's okay.
Okay.
That's fine. Thank you for...
And then a cat jumps on top of my place setting and like knocks my cup over, and I'm like, oh no.
Oh no.
Nim, please. And I'm like, sorry. It's just like as soon as the camera's turned on, they flock towards me. It's not dinner time yet, Nim.
How many cats do you have?
Oh, I personally have 3, but I work for a cat rescue, so I have a number of fosters as well. But Nim's one of my babies. And I like lean off screen and do a little scritch.
They're very cute. That's awesome. What got you into fostering cats and being a cat mom?
The neighborhood used to have a lot of strays.
Mm-hmm.
I forget if it's on my profile on the Flower Forum, but I'm here in Chicago. And
Awesome.
I'm right by, my apartment is right by this open lot, and like there are stray cats there all the time. And they're really loud. And once I started looking into it, it was a rabbit hole. And now I have right now 8 cats in the apartment, but we'll get them some good homes.
That's really nice of you and really kind. And I'm glad that you're always have some friends around too, especially in the big city like Chicago.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So mechanically, what is happening right now?
Mechanically,
so I can understand the game.
So mechanically, you're just setting the scene right now.
Okay.
Like we're kind of doing like the back and forth, because right now I am reading essentially what I'm going to be giving you in terms of the dice, because they do have a guide, the guide and dice on page 54 in the PDF. So that's kind of what I'm going over. We haven't run into the attraction dice yet, because the attraction dice is awarded to the active player for describing a romantic gesture made by the active character. And that's equal to the number of boxes of attraction. So for this turn, you can do 1 type of romantic gesture, whatever that may be, and I can give you a dice for it if I think it's cute, basically.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, I feel like my romantic gesture was that I had made like all this stuff for our date.
100%. Yeah. And so I will award you an attraction die for that. Absolutely.
Yeah, an attraction dice.
Doing better than Mia. She just showed up in a t-shirt and jeans. She's ready to party. Yeah. So she works so much that she just kind of wants to just chill, which is great.
So now I describe things that are going well in the date.
Yeah, we don't necessarily have to roleplay these things out. We can just kind of talk about it, especially because we're limited on time. Yeah. You absolutely can do that. So,
okay. So then I feel like if we're just describing things that happen, Hortense is knows that Mia was really interested in her roses. So Hortense is like, well, I know we were supposed to eat dinner, but I thought, why not dinner and a show? And she's put together a PowerPoint presentation about her roses. But it's a really cute PowerPoint presentation that has lots of like sweet romantic puns in it. Maybe she's coming on too strong for a first date. But it's like a fun, cutesy PowerPoint, like with all sorts of like little jokes, like flower jokes and stuff. It's not, hopefully, doesn't come off dry.
Hopefully.
So how do I collect more dice for my roll?
So
I have to invoke my traits.
So basically, calling either of our traits out, essentially, which you have done successfully.
Okay.
Let me actually pull up that section. The bonus dice. Bonus dice are awarded to the active player for narrating and playing out positive things that put the character at an advantage in the scene. So, like, definitely Hortense's doing PowerPoints and playing up like the love of flowers, which is really awesome, and definitely putting in a lot of effort. So that's definitely something I would award for. So the menu of options for bonus dice are taking positive actions or using words that call each other's or on either character's traits, having the active character do something nice to or for the other character, describing a setting element, another character, a location, an object that contributes to the active character's efforts, which is you've done all this, narrating something going well that the guide judges to be very true to life, creative, or well done, taking a suggestion for 1 or above from the guide. So the max you can get is 3 bonus dice. And I feel, Lysa, that you checked all those boxes. Yay. So I would like to award you with all 3 bonus dice off the bat. It was very creative and really wonderful.
Hey,
and
now
super
I have
Ghibli.
4 dice.
Yep. All right. So the other type of dice are rerolls are awarded to the active player for narrating, describing negative in-character things that put their character at a disadvantage.
Okay, so looking at the page that I have, that was what I was confused about.
Yeah,
I was like, do you do that already? So I make an attraction roll, and then based on my failures, I can describe stuff going bad, and then I get to re-roll dice.
Correct.
Okay, so do I make a roll now then, an attraction roll?
I think so, yeah. You would make,
All right, everybody, here's some dicey ASMR sounds.
How our introduction went, essentially.
Oh, no. I got 3 failures and a success.
Okay,
so 5 and 6 are successes.
Yeah, 5 and 6 are successes. Those rerolls are taking actions or using words related to trait, which we did. Hold on. 1 sec. Each of the attraction dice and bonus dice, which had failing result, are eligible for rerolls. Okay.
Oh, and I can be creating new traits all this time.
Yes,
too.
You can. Absolutely. Yeah,
okay,
that's
so
super important.
I'm going to say that, unfortunately, a PowerPoint presentation does come off a little bit dry, like a little bit dry for a first date. Hortense was both like slightly nervous, but also like talks about roses a lot. So her presentation is very like, here I am, just instead of getting to know Mia, here's my very rehearsed explanation about how rose breeding works and why my rose is so special. And it's a little bit, she comes off, I don't know if like selfish is the right word, but self-centered or at least nervous.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to put self-centered on my character sheet.
She's, what's a good word?
It's not that she's like, she's
not selfish. That's not a good word.
She's very focused on herself because she is slightly nervous about this date.
What's a good word for that? There's a word for that.
It could be because she's introverted, that she's nervous. So I'm going to add my trait introverted.
Okay.
Boop, boop. And, there's also like people who are like less aware of, like, she's not realizing that Mia's maybe zoning out a little bit during her presentation.
Yeah. There you go. Okay.
So how many reroll dice?
You can get up to 3. Let me see. No, seriously, have been rolled. So, because I'm trying to see what the end of the turn is. Before that, just to make sure that I'm not missing anything. Enough success has been rolled to either add an attraction level or create compatibility. Attraction level is 3, compatibility is 4 successes. Or all possible dice have been awarded or rolled, even if it's too few successes, or if the active player decides to end the turn.
You know what?
Yeah.
I want to draw on my conflict.
Okay. You can do that, and you can get up to 3 rerolls.
Yeah, okay. So she's droning on and on about these roses, which she loves so much. And the witch that cursed her was actually another gardener who lost.
Oh, no.
Who got second place in the rose show.
Oh, no.
And so part of her curse is that she couldn't tell you this because you can't talk about your curses, as we know from in the Ghibli universe.
No.
But one part of her curse is then when she talks about her beautiful roses, it's the most boring thing ever.
Okay.
So she doesn't realize how boring she's being, but the curse makes it so.
Okay. All right.
So I got 3 failures, which so I could potentially earn reroll dice, and then there's also conflict dice I can call on.
Yes, which you did. Bringing in a conflict gives you 3 dice.
Oh, seriously? Wow.
Conflict dice may be rolled at any time before attraction, and bonus dice are rolled before rerolls, and so they can be rolled anytime. Use 3 different dice from the rest and the size. So the thing about conflict dice, though, is like this is your one shot with conflict dice in this turn.
For this turn?
Yeah, you cannot reroll the conflict dice.
I think I'm going to use them. And actually, I feel like you want to use conflict dice potentially early on, right? Because if you get all successes on your conflict dice, you could get more attraction dice.
Yeah, and compatibility, yep.
Okay, well.
Let's see how we do.
Oh, man, 3 failures.
Oh, no.
Okay, so I'm just boring.
No. The last thing you can get is...
we don't have any compatibilities yet.
No, we don't have any compatibilities yet.
So let me know if I got any reroll dice.
I would say that you are being very good about your descriptions. And like I said, you're also playing on the traits, because rerolls also follow that you're doing really well on your traits, and narrating something gone wrong that the guide judges to be very true to life. Which I've been in that Zoom call. So each, how many rerolls do you get? Each of the attraction dice and bonus dice, which had a failing result, 1 to 4.
Yeah,
so you had
I got
3 are eligible for rerolls. So it's eligible for a reroll. So you can reroll those 3 failures again.
Yeah.
But like conflict, 1 shot.
Okay, I didn't get enough to make a compatibility, but I got 2 additional successes.
Okay.
So I've got 3 successes, which I think raises our attraction level.
I think that does. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, resolving. That's where we need to go. A result of 5 or 6 on any die counts as a success. If you get 3 or more successes within a single turn, do the following. With 3 successes, you may increase the attraction level by 1.
I drew a heart on our jam board.
You're so freaking cute. To add an attraction level, make a check mark in one of the attraction boxes. Do not fill them in at this time. More at page 39 between dates. So we're not there yet. Okay. Describe how the events of the scene resulted in the characters feeling more attracted to one another.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, I just said I had like a really boring, PowerPoint, but I feel like Mia is a hopeless romantic. And so she's there and she's just like, oh, Hortense seems nervous. Like, she's trying so hard. She made that whole like flower wall backdrop. That's sweet.
Yeah. I think that Hortense being super romantic, like with the flower wall, and like also like seeing how nervous you like Hortense was with like the cats and stuff, like is just touches her romantic heart. Like she just loves it so much, and it's super, super sweet. So probably the nicest thing that anyone has ever done. I think. Yeah. So we can do that.
Okay. So when we switch roles, is this the same date, just a different turn?
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. So that's kind of like what they were talking about with like you go to a park and then you go to dinner and then you go to a movie, like type of deal. But in the Zoom call, like what we would do is like you did your super rad PowerPoint
Oh,
presentation.
that's generous.
That's cute. And so like now like it would be my turn to like be like, oh, like we should watch a movie. So let me just make sure we're ending this properly. Okay. Up. Ending the turn. A player's turn ends when we've gotten rid of all possible dice or added an attraction level, which we did. We're not in between dates yet.
So I think you just kind of pick up and do sort of the same thing.
Yep.
So you describe the location, establish how much time has passed since the last turn, etc.
Okay, so I think Hortense's PowerPoint was about an hour long, and she was super engaged. But Mia was like super into it, and she like again could see that she was being nervous, so she's like really supportive and asking a lot of questions too about like how what her favorite roses and like what got her into roses, and they have a really nice conversation. And then there's kind of a lull in the conversation, and Mia's like, hey, did you want to watch this super awesome documentary on gardening that I love so much? I'd like to share it with you. I found it on Netflix.
Oh, that was very thoughtful. Yeah, I'd love to watch.
Okay. So so she'll we'll get one of those screen share things and kind of watch, and Mia is going to sort of like still talk to her a little bit like while they're watching it together. Like it's kind of just like a passive thing to do. Mia's not one of those people, because again she's a hopeless romantic. She's not one of those people where she's gonna be like, shh, like don't talk during this. And they can talk about having like what their favorite flowers are, and learning more about pollen and seeds and all sorts of cute flower stuff. So
cool. So I definitely feel like Mia's leaning a lot. She's like, oh, Hortense really likes flowers.
yes,
and so she's leaning into that. Okay. And so I feel like you've definitely earned 2 attraction dice.
Heck yeah,
for sure.
Awesome.
Do you want to
do something romantic?
Yeah.
Hortense's doorbell rings.
Oh. Okay.
And Mia talked to some people on the flower forum and got her sent a beautiful bouquet of flowers.
That's so sweet.
It's so cute.
Can I just give you 1,000,000 bonus dice?
I wish. That's I have to explain to the audience that we have already decided we're cheating through this entire system, so we can get so much bonus dice and win. So
that's extremely sweet. A big gesture, and I feel like it's also extra sweet because Hortense was feeling like she was maybe being a little bit extra after she showed like the Zoom call started. So that also puts her at ease.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you 3 bonus dice.
Heck yeah. I can like roll right now, I feel like. Okay.
You've got 5 dice.
6, 5, 5. So that's 3.
Oh, already we have an attraction. I'll add another heart to our jam board.
Yep. Okay. I still have one. You still have 1 dice to give me. So
yeah. From rerolls. Do you want to describe something that's gone poorly?
Sure. So while they're talking about their love of flowers, and she's of course like blushing when Hortense like gets the flowers, and of course I'm assuming the cats are loving it too, as all cats do. So she gets a phone call, and her ex-boyfriend is downstairs.
Oh no.
So she kind of goes, 1 second, I'm so sorry, and mutes the call, but Hortense can see her like on the phone, like kind of like flustered. And she's saying like, she's like, no, don't come up, and hangs up the call. And she's like, I'm so sorry, 1 second. And she kind of goes off screen for a while.
Okay.
Muted. And eventually she comes back, kind of like 10 minutes later, saying, "I'm so sorry, my ex-boyfriend was coming to get his stuff, and we're not like in love or anything like that, and I didn't know he was going to come, and I'm very, very sorry." And then when she says that, Hortense notices like her art behind her all falls, just crashes, everything crashes.
What a big baby. Sorry, the wizard.
He is. Yeah. And then she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like I'm so sorry."
What was that?
Nothing. It's just these walls are they're just not sturdy, and she gets like progressively more nervous, and she starts.
Hortense isn't gonna press things on the first date. I definitely feel like, especially on a first date, someone's ex coming in is a big conflict. So I'm gonna give you all 3 of the conflict dice.
Okay. Awesome.
And then but I am gonna say Hortense is a little bit like, oh, is this a thing now? Yeah. I don't know. So I'm actually not gonna give you the reroll dice.
Fine.
Yeah.
I'm rolling this. See if I get this. So we had 3 successes last time. So no successes. So we're still at 3. So that is an attraction.
Okay.
And that's all the dice.
Sweet. So was that a whole date, us each getting a turn, or do we keep going?
We can do it as much as we want to. They say 4 to 6 turns, but we can make it again since we're on time.
Yeah. Let's see if that was
the date.
Yeah. Okay. There's also only so much you can do on a Zoom call.
I know. All right, between dates, the reality check. Between dates is when attraction levels may disappear. Those that remain become permanent. This represents how, with time and reflection, the chemistry sparked on the date can lose its shine. You have a chance to prevent that loss. At the end of the first and second dates, roll a reality check to see how many of the attraction levels created in that date become permanent. For each newly added attraction level in a given date, roll 1 dice. Newly added levels are represented by a check, so your hearts, essentially. Yeah. For each 5 or 6 that is rolled, fill it in. So essentially now we're seeing if the attraction sticks.
Okay.
So
do we each get to roll, or it's just as a group we roll 1 each? I think
probably. It's for each. Let me see. For at the end of the first roll. So are we doing the roll?
Sounds to me that the attraction is like a group thing that we share.
So would you each like to roll 1 since we have 2?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I got a 5.
I got a 5.
Yay!
Yay!
We love
the attraction
we're in
sticks. Yes. Amazing. Okay.
I'm filling them in.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think if we can. Yeah, you are. Any compatibilities? I think we can add, I feel like. Create with 4 successes. We haven't gotten any successes yet, so we have nothing compatible.
Yeah.
We're just in love.
But we're just in love. We're just feeling those. Okay. What do we do on our second date?
So, we can do, well, let me think. So we said Zoom calls, so there's a little bit of limitation.
Yeah, I mean, we don't. This is our fantasy world. It doesn't have to. We can travel.
We can travel. Yep, we can travel.
Maybe there's like a Chicago flower show.
Yeah, that would be super cool to go to like a convention, like a cool like flower convention. That would be super rad.
Yeah. Okay, so how about, since I started last time, you start this time and tell us how much time has passed and what's going on.
Sure. I would say that the date went super well, and they have been texting and talking on the flower form a couple times a day. And Hortense mentions like, oh, like there's a flower show coming up, like just in passing. And so Mia's like, oh, would you like to go together? And then secretly gets them tickets. Yeah. And so they set that up, and Mia picks her up too, in her little speedy car, her little hot pink Corvette, to drive in style to the flower show. So this will be the first time that they're meeting. So
okay.
setting the
So
scene.
I feel like off the bat, you did a romantic gesture. You've traveled in order to be in Chicago for this romantic gesture, and you got a sweet rental.
Yeah.
So that's 3 attraction dice right off the bat.
All right, off the bat. Did I roll on this? Yeah, it's 3. No attraction.
Oh no.
That's okay.
But you still have you can still call on your traits or add new traits to earn bonus dice.
Yeah, so let's see. Well, ever since last meeting, romantic would be a thing. Like, she's a romantic, like, outside of the romantic gesture. Like, I think hopeless romantic is something that would be...
Yeah, I feel like that's, like, because she did all of those things, like, as a whole, that's very romantic. So that's 1 bonus die for sure, calling on that trait.
Absolutely. And then, like, friendly, too. Like, I mean, like, trying to, like, essentially, you know, like, setting everything up and, like, and, you know, making sure Hortense is comfortable with it and stuff like that, would definitely, or even, like, floral designer, the fact that, like, she's leaning into that too, and also, like, I wish it was a compatibility, because it is, that, you know, she knows she loves flowers.
Maybe before we go to the convention, we could start off our date at brunch.
Yeah, we could go to brunch. I forgot about brunch. Okay. So we're going to brunch.
I was been counting. You invoked a bunch of traits.
Okay.
So I think you've definitely earned 3 additional bonus dice.
Okay. So let's... Come on. Okay. 6, 5, 5. That's it. So that's a
3?
A faux attraction right now.
Okay. Faux traction. There.
Faux traction.
Fabulous. Now, if you'd like to describe anything going wrong or invoke conflicts or... Well, we don't have compatibilities.
No, not yet.
Yeah. You can earn yourself some more dice.
So when they go to brunch, they have a server, and, like, they're super nice, you know, like, young kid, you know what I mean? Like, super, super sweet, and, like, helping them out, and having a good time too with, like, Hortense and Mia. Like, they're joking around, you know, giving, like, their recommendation, and then when the food comes out and it gets dropped off, it's the wizard ex-boyfriend dressed.
No!
Yes, he's here. And she very awkwardly says, Hortense, this is my ex-boyfriend. And she kind of glares at him and is like, and says, like, what are you doing here? And he says,
Hortense
he
feels really awkward.
Yeah, he says, I hope you enjoy your date, and I hope that Hortense can be as good as I am. And he storms off. She goes, I'm so sorry about that. He's a wizard. He just shows up places.
Oh, okay. All right. So I think a number of things. First of all, for sure, those 3 conflict dice. Mm-hmm. But I also feel like Mia just being, like, really straightforward about this, and now telling Hortense that her ex is a wizard. Hortense understands a little bit the drama and stuff. Yeah. She's been cursed by a witch. Magical people are really dramatic.
Absolutely.
So I feel like I want you to get at least 1 reroll die.
Okay.
And those 3 conflict dice.
Awesome. So that'll put me at full as well. So we will be switching. Do we get a compatibility? No. So we get a faux attraction.
A faux traction?
Faux traction.
Was that the former faux traction? Or
that was former faux traction. Just saying that we don't have anything past faux traction. All right. So that would end the turn.
All right. So we enjoyed the rest of our brunch without anything else disrupting the date.
Yep.
And then we move to the convention center, and Hortense is very boring when she talks about her rose, but Oh, I could invoke the conflict first and
You
potentially
could.
get another attraction. Okay. Um, so I'm gonna say she's starting off. Uh, I feel like there's at the front, because she won the competition, her rose is part of the banners for the flower show. Like those photos of
Oh,
her rose.
okay.
And so I'm
That's sweet.
talking about them and how excited I am about them being the banners, and yet
Yeah.
somehow it just comes out so freaking boring. And Mia's thought process is maybe like, wow, she was so charming during brunch. Like what's
Yeah, what
going on
happened?
here?
Yeah. Okay.
And I want to like layer on another part of the curse on this second date.
Yeah.
I feel like once she starts talking about her rose, so it starts out boring, and then if she talks about the rose for more than an hour, because that's how long my PowerPoint presentation was, that she starts to break out in hives that are the color of her rose.
Oh no.
Yeah, so she's just getting like little like spots all over her face.
Oh
And it is not cute. Does that invoke our conflict?
no. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no. Tense.
One success. Okay, we just got one success.
That's
but
okay.
I'll put that to the side.
Putting it to the side.
And then she goes to the she's like acting really embarrassed. Well, actually, she's like, okay, this happens sometimes, and she's actually rolling with it really well.
Okay.
So handling it in stride, not being self-conscious, and just being like, you know what, like if we bump into anyone we know at the flower show, it's like whatever, stuff happens to everybody, and so that's actually kind of impressive.
Okay.
That she's not letting it ruin the date. She's like, they're a little itchy, but aside from that, I'll be fine. They're not contagious or anything.
Okay.
And then they go to the flower show, and while Hortense is really, really boring talking about her own flowers, the actual words that she's saying and that enthusiasm comes through when she talks about other people's flowers, because that's not part of her curse. And so she's just like describing all the different flower species that they're seeing and dropping so much knowledge. And you can really tell she's an award-winning rose breeder.
Yeah.
And also that she is, aside from her curse, a really good speaker, I'm going to add as a trait.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to write eloquent.
Yeah, she's very good about being eloquent. Absolutely. Yeah. I agree. I'm going to actually put honest on mine.
Yeah. Eloquent, and she is... also, I feel like there are people who are selling like little corsages and stuff, and so she's going to get one of those for Mia.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay, cool.
And it's a hot pink flower, and she's like, because I know this is your favorite color.
You get all the dice. Put all the dice in your pool right now. All of it.
So we start with 4 attraction dice, and then I can get 3 bonus dice.
Great. They're all yours.
Okay.
All of them.
Let's roll. Let's do this attraction roll. 1, 2... Oh, man. 2 successes, but adding that to my former success, we've earned another faux traction.
Faux traction.
Faux traction. Okay.
Awesome.
But that means I've got 5... reroll dice I can try to earn. Okay. So she's got you this corsage, and then it's a flower show, and the witch is a flower. So I can't get more conflict dice, but I can use her as part of something going wrong.
Sure can.
So the witch is there, and she comes over and with like her entourage, and she knows what the curse is. So she's just like, oh, how is your gardening going with your particular rose, huh? And Hortense says, well, it's going really well, and blah, blah, blah. And like starts going, like it enacts the next part of her curse. So she's got the hives. And then the next part, her eyes start to change. Like at first you think she's just getting like her eyes are getting very red, But then you see like that her pupils are starting to change.
Oh no.
She seems to be the curse, and she's never seen this happen before. I guess she hasn't talked about her flowers this much. It seems the curse is starting to change her into something else. Also, everyone laughs at her.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I know. Mia's not gonna let that happen.
Yeah. So, on
my turn, I'm gonna say some very not nice things in a Ghibli movie.
Yeah.
Yes, Lysa, that is definitely gained you full dice on that because
cool.
you clicked a bunch of stuff at once.
All right.
So
okay, we got one more success, but that's 4 total.
That's
so
a compatibility.
That means we get a compatibility.
Yeah. Yep.
So what should our compatibility be? I mean, we're at the flower show. That's like an obvious thing. But I don't know if you feel like, what would Mia's reaction be to the witch coming over? And
she'd be super mad, like, because she is here on a date with Hortense. She bought the tickets, got a fly car, went to brunch, and this witch just comes to try to ruin it all. So she is very defensive, and very against this witch that is a curse. So.
I feel like that strengthens our bond, and we get
does.
a compatibility, which could either be flower related or magical people are all up in our business related.
Yeah, magical
nemesis.
Magical nemesis. I think is a good compatibility.
Yeah, I'll add that.
Awesome.
Magical nemesis. Fantastic.
Great.
Cool, we earned a compatibility.
Yay. Okay. And that's, I think, where you were at full dice.
Yeah. I think that's it. I could reroll. I could try to invoke a compatibility, but I don't think I need to. I won't get us anything additional.
All right. So attraction level is at 4 now?
Yes.
So 2 and 2?
I think we just have to, well, our attraction level is a total of 5, but I think we just have to re-roll for the ones that aren't permanent yet.
Yeah, so that, what is that, 3?
1 each.
1 each? Okay, so let's do it.
I got a
1
2.
sticks. Mine stuck.
Okay, good. So
we got 1 attraction.
We'll color 1 in.
All right.
The other one goes away.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So there is notes on the final. Oh wait, yeah, because we're doing 2 rounds per.
Yeah.
I will tell that witch off in my turn though. Okay. And then be like, and then time passes. So the end game. The final date. Before beginning the 3rd date, think back on the events of the first 2. This is your last opportunity to wrap up any outstanding doubts or questions that have arisen about the forming relationship. As players, consider what the relationship may become and what will still keep them apart, and focus on these things in your narrations. In particular, look at the number of compatibilities. The more you have, the better chance the relationship has over the long haul. At the end of the 3rd date, you'll make a final reality check that is slightly different from the others. This establishes the final levels of attraction and compatibilities. Then take stock and answer 3 questions. Both of the steps are listed below. So the next part is after the 3rd date, which we'll go over when we get there.
Okay.
All right. So, obviously, for those watching, if we had more turns, we would have more chances for compatibility and more chances for attraction. Because we're doing this on a speed run. We only have 1 compatibility, but that's okay. So we're going to make it through. I am hopeful for them. I am hopeful for Hortense and Mia. I think they are going to be so happy in love in a big garden, where they're like basically the local floral witches of the town. And that's my hope for them. And that they abandon city life is my hope. Okay. Putting that out there.
I'm just hoping they're able to get rid of this wizard and witch curse.
Yeah.
The wizard, the X as a wizard is a curse as well.
Yeah, really.
Do you want to go first as active player, or should I go first?
I went first last time.
Okay.
So, but I will say that I did tell the witch off, and Mia stood up for Hortense and looped like in her arm, like, and said, "We are leaving," and walked off, and said to her, this is what we would do if we had more turns. You know, said to her, like, it's okay. You know, she doesn't matter. Like, she's not on this date. We're on a date together.
Oh, I like Mia. Okay.
Yeah. I like Hortense.
The next date, a couple more months have gone by. They've continued with their little Zoom dates and texting each other and such. And Hortense decides that she wants to visit Seattle for a number of reasons. There are some great thrift shops she wants to check out. It's a great place for rose growing, but also obviously she just wants to see Mia in person again.
Aww.
And so Mia picks Hortense up at the airport. They're staying together for the first time on this date. And I guess Mia probably wants to show Hortense like all the local attractions. So maybe they're going to the Glass Museum.
Ooh.
And while they're there, a familiar wizard shows up. No. And he he's been drinking, and he has even like I don't know how he got into the museum with it, but there's like a flamingo in his cup. And he's just like, I don't know what you see in Hortense, who, by the way, has talked about her roses so much that she's transformed into a werecat. So we'll say she has little fuzzy ears now. But Mia totally accepts her for who she is.
Of course.
She's a cat person, and I'm an all-powerful wizard. And Hortense is going to rush up to the wizard and say, you need to get over Mia. She's amazing, but you had your chance. And she's with me now, so back the heck off. And then she's gonna hiss, and then she's gonna do a little scratch.
Oh,
yeah.
Can I give you all the die you're supposed to have this round?
Yay!
Because you hit conflict, you hit traits, you hit everything. So I'm gonna give you
conflict.
Everything.
We've got 4 attraction, and then up to 3 bonus dice. Do I have enough dicey boys? Is there another D6 over here? I'll just re-roll 2 of these dice.
That's what I'm saying. That's fine.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 successes, and then I still get to re-roll 2.
Ooh.
2 6s. Wow.
Holy cats.
Okay, so we've got 6 successes, which I think is 2 more attractions.
2 attraction.
Yes, 2 faux attractions. Oops,
faux attractions.
I'm on the eraser. Faux attraction. And then we get another compatibility.
Yep.
So what should our second compatibility be that we tell off X's? Protective?
We're protective, yeah.
Okay.
Helping each other, yeah, like we like helping each other get, move on from our past.
Yeah.
It's
protective cute. And empathetic.
Yeah.
I think. Because some people might be like freaked out about X's being involved, but we get it.
So, yeah, totally.
And yeah, I don't even, I mean, I could potentially, if I try to earn a reroll, try to get us a second compatibility.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
And I'm just, go.
So for my rerolls, I'm going to say that this is the action portion of the Ghibli movie.
Yeah.
And we get into a werecat versus wizard fight. And we're asked to leave the museum. But it's also a romantic gesture that I fought your axe.
Yeah, you did. It was very romantic. Thank you for being so romantic.
Okay.
Oh, this is so sweet.
2 rerolls?
Heck yeah. You deserve that reroll.
Okay.
Defendant
no additional successes.
That's
okay.
But we
move on to your turn.
Awesome. Okay, so they get kicked out of the museum. And they're kind of just standing outside. And it's very awkward. Because Hortense is ready to attack Mia's ex. And she finally says, I care about Hortense more than I have ever cared about you. Leave me alone. Lose my number. And she pulls out her cell phone and shows like his listing and deletes it in front of him and says, "You leave me and my lady friend alone. We're going to go on a date and you're not going to stop it anymore." And because she's so passionate and powerful, she puts her own spell on the ex-boyfriend, and he turns around and walks away.
Yay! I love that. Okay,
I love it too.
You get all the dice as well, which I'm gonna be honest is a lot of dice.
Okay,
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus 3, so 9.
Okay.
9 dice, and then if you want, you can. I mean, you also kind of invoked the conflict.
Okay.
So 9, so 12, and then if you want to invoke the compatibilities as well, because why not?
Yeah.
12 plus 4. You get to roll 16 dice.
Okay, so let's start with 6 dicey boys.
Yeah.
And go from there. So 6, 2, 3 successes so far.
All right. So another protraction.
And then I will roll 6 again for a 12. 1 success from that.
All right. So we're going to get another compatibility, which we can determine in a second.
And then 4.
Yeah.
And that's 2 5s.
All right. So that was 4. So we get we ran out of space for attractions, but that would be another protraction.
Yes.
All right.
That would be a protraction.
Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah.
What should our next compatibility be?
Okay, so we have overcoming, we have the flowers, magical nemesis, protective and empathetic. I think compatibility is caring for the other person for who they are, I think, is a big compatibility.
Caring and acceptance.
Yeah.
I like that.
Me too.
Okay. These beans are so wholesome and sweet. I love them. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's just describe what the rest of our date is. Yeah. Just for the sake of concluding this date.
Sounds good.
I feel like we go around the rest of that plaza of museums, and we go to every single one all day until it's dark and everything. But we're like barely paying attention to the museums because we're just enjoying talking to each other. And I feel like Mia and Hortense have connected on this real non-flower discussion level.
Yes.
So the witch's curse doesn't even come into play aside from the fact that I have cat ears.
Yes.
Okay.
Which Mia completely accepts and loves about.
Yay. Okay.
Yay.
This is end of third date.
All right. So
what do we do?
After the third date's been completed. Oh wait, we have to roll our attraction.
Okay. Each roll 2.
Yeah. Okay.
1 success.
1 success.
Okay. So we'll fill in 2 permanently. Oops, that was an eraser.
Okay.
Okay.
After the third date's been completed, make a final reality check for all the new attraction levels, but this time with some additional support. Roll 1 dice for each attraction level, new and permanent, which we already did, which is fine. And 1 dice for each compatibility. These dice cannot be re-rolled. Each 5 or 6 rolled makes 1 more new attraction level permanent. No, you cannot gain more attraction than you had at the end of the third date. Now you look at your final attraction levels.
We each get to roll additional dice then for the compatibility. 1 additional die.
So
I got 1 success, so that's an additional permanent.
No successes on my end.
Okay,
that's okay.
We've filled out the attraction
We are super attracted to each other. All right. Each 5 or 6 roll is 1 new attraction. Now look at your final attraction levels and number of compatibilities to help narrate the outcome of your 2 characters. Follow the directions for taking stock, then answer 3 questions about the relationship. Let me get to that. Boop. Taking stock. How many attraction levels do the characters have? More than 5. So many.
7.
So, okay, so 5 plus is chemistry sizzles. Ha-cha-cha.
Yeah.
How many compatibilities do the characters have?
3.
So some common ground, but is it enough? And so we kind of have to remember that when asking 3 questions.
Okay.
After the end of the third date, the players resolve the story of their characters. Reflect on what the attraction compatibility level meant when you took stock. Think back over the events of the game, and each player answers the following questions. Okay. So they're very attracted to each other. Mm-hmm. They have some compatibility.
Yeah.
Little bit compatibility. And I think that's okay. I think that's going to help them make it through, because they've also been through some stuff together too.
I agree. I think going through shared experiences makes a really big difference and builds compatibilities, mm-hmm. As we saw demonstrated through the game. And I also think Mia and Hortense find a way to get rid of the witch's curse on Hortense. Mm-hmm. So that whole process maybe brings them closer together, mm-hmm. and then probably gains more compatibilities as well.
Yeah, I think so too. So the questions are, do you think they stay together after the third date? Abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah.
When did your characters fall in love with each other?
I wonder if it's, do you think it was on this third date with their shared confrontation?
Yes, I agree. Yeah. I think that's the big thing. Like, they, with the power of their own individuality and the power of support too, they were able to overcome their past together, with this witch and this ex that lives in a moving castle. Yeah. What are the long-term chances for this relationship?
I mean, I think the biggest barrier for them is distance. Mm-hmm. They obviously care about each other. But I think Hortense coming to the Pacific Northwest for those work-related reasons was maybe her trying to see if she would want to move to the Pacific Northwest.
Right.
And so I think if she does that, their chances are strong.
Yeah, I think so too. I really think that, like, Chicago's a really big city and she's got her cats, and I think that Mia eventually would ask to maybe move to the country so there's more room for cats and more room to grow flowers and to do their businesses together, where she doesn't have to bartend anymore, and helps with Hortense's company, and helps with the photography and stuff, and and then they have
I like to imagine they have their own beautiful flower farm.
Yeah, a beautiful flower farm. They have an awesome Instagram, with all their flowers and all the cats and stuff, and to help them get adopted. And so they have really good compatibility in that regard. Yeah.
Oh, this was so fun.
Yeah. And so it ends with, the tale is told, the story is done. Does it end in tears or laughter? You get to decide.
Yay!
Yay!
It ends in a gentle end credit scene, a gentle and pastoral end credit scene.
Yeah, where they're just kind of frolicking through, their farm and stuff, and it's cuts to them, feeding the cats, and cutting flowers, and making floral arrangements together. Very wholesome, of course.
I love Hortense and Mia, and this game was really fun. I actually am thinking maybe I'll play it with Dusty this weekend.
I think that would be awesome. Yeah. For those of us who have joined us, thank you so much for joining us. If you are super just joining us, we played Romance Trilogy by Emily Care Boss. I have put the link into the chat. It'll also be in the description, where Lysa and I had our characters go on 3 different dates, and they lived happily ever after in a Ghibli film. I think it went great. I think once we got into the dice rolling and figuring mm-hmm. that part out, I think it got way easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was good. Yeah. So 10-10 would play again. Basically.
Yeah, this was really fun, especially since you can really change the tone of the game mm-hmm. to whatever you like. I think that's pretty cool. And actually, gosh, I'm just thinking of this would be really fun to just do date nights with your partner if you both like tabletop games or want to pick up a pretty simple tabletop game. You just start collecting dice pools and rolling them. So
and the thing that's cool too is you can change the theme if you want to do something different or what have you. So it's good, and I like that too, that it can be 2 people, and like I said, there's hacks for more people. You can go on double dates if there's more people involved and things like that. Mm-hmm. Well, awesome. I think that concludes our Learn to Play. Thank you again for
Thank you for teaching me how to play, Meredith.
Heck yeah, thanks for playing. It was really, really fun.
Learning to
So
play together.
yeah. Yay. So yeah, pick up Romance Trilogy from Emily Caraboss on DriveThruRPG. Like I said, links are available. And then we'll do our outro. My name is Meredith Gerber, and I'm the Century Publisher Relations Representative at DriveThruRPG. You can find me at Meredith Gerber on Twitter. You can find me at Meredith A. Gerber on Instagram and meredithgerber.com as well. And I'll be around the DriveThruRPG Discord, of course. And Lysa, where can people find you?
Yeah, I'm Lysa Penrose. I am brand manager for Dungeon Masters Guild, a game designer, and also a variety streamer. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, all of the places at Lysa Penrose. If you want to see another like small, easy to pick up, fun to play RPG, all based around being witches, the all-powerful fates, I'm actually running an actual play of the game I wrote, Mundane Magic RPG, also on DriveThruRPG, on Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. It is a Valentine's Day special, and folks will be matchmaking dinosaurs.
Ooh,
so tune in then.
That sounds amazing. Awesome.
Great.
Very cool. And Lysa,
well, I think next week
I was going to say, can you tell us about what's exciting with you?
Community Jam. And we will be talking about D&D duet adventures, designing them and running them with the wonderful team at D&D Duet, Jonathan and Beth Ball. So we'll see you next week.
Awesome. We will see you next week on
Bye, everybody.
your lunch break. Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming out.